Hello, and welcome. This is Revamped by Renee. My name is Renee, of course, and thank you so much for stopping into another video. And if this is your first time stopping in, I hope that you enjoy this and you consider subscribing because there's a lot more Revamped on the way. So today's video is all about fall DIYs. I have a few very interesting and unique DIYs for you. They are all going to be based around this little guy. Little, but can make a huge impact in your DIYs. So these are the round wood slices. You can get them at any craft store. I do get mine off of Amazon and I will have them linked below. So with that being said, we are gonna hop right into it because I cannot wait to jumpstart the holiday season with some fantastic fall DIYs. This project was fully inspired by another creator, Liddy Out Loud. This is her website to her blog, liddyoutloud.com. I am also going to link her down below. She deserves full credit for this project and is the reason I recreated one of my own. So I went ahead and started with 4 wood slices. I also grabbed a beautiful bouquet of fall leaves, and then you're also going to need a 14-inch embroidery hoop. And you need to get one that has the little clamp on the side. That is going to come into play here shortly. Now, as you can probably see, we are going to be spelling out the word fall. These I cut out on my Cricut. You can definitely grab up the stickers at Dollar Tree. You can create a stencil or buy a stencil and just paint on each letter to spell out the word fall. And because these letters are a little bit bigger, I went ahead and used my Silhouette brand transfer tape, and I can have that linked below for you guys. It just works better if you need a lower tack transfer tape. And then we're gonna seal down our vinyl with some matte Mod Podge. Now, if you're using stickers, even the paint, I would still recommend doing this step because you're gonna seal any design down into the wood. Heat it up with a heat tool and lock it into place. Okay, let's go ahead and work on our hoop now that these wood slices are done. And we're going to start unscrewing the clamp. Go ahead and check and make sure it opens and closes okay. Next, I'm going to take my bouquet of flowers and I'm simply just going to snip them off. Now, when you do this, you want to snip about 1/4, maybe a little more, down from the stem. You want a little bit of the stem showing, and you will see why in just a moment. So there you go. You can see I do have a little bit of it showing here, and I'm just going to speed this part up a little bit. Okay, and after you have clipped all of your flowers and your greenery off, go ahead and grab your main flower that you want to use. So this will be like your centralized flower. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm doing here from the side. Obviously, I'm going to be placing it on the top, but just so you guys could see there, I inserted it into the clamp, pressed it down, and then I would screw it down. So go ahead, add some glue to your stem. This is why we want a little bit of that stem showing. You're going to open up your clamp there, place it inside, and then press it down and take that screw and start twisting it down and tighten it as much as you can. And now it is nice and secured. It is not going anywhere. We've got glue and we have that clamp holding it in place very securely. All right, and now that we have our central flower secured, you can just arrange the rest of your flowers to look the way that you would like on your hoop. I am taking my hot glue gun now, and I'm going to place some of it on the inside of our hoop. And then with that next flower, you're going to use that stem to press it securely onto your glue and just hold it into place until it is cooled completely. Then we're going to cut off a little piece of ribbon, and you're going to apply a line of glue over your stem onto your embroidery hoop, and then just place your ribbon right over top of that. And I would suggest pressing it in place with a finger protector or the end of a paintbrush or something, because the ribbon is very thin. And this is how it looks once I have each flower secured. Now for the blue flowers, I want them to be a little above the base flowers. So I am using a piece of wire, which I did get at the Dollar Tree. I am twisting it around that stem. Then I secure it down with a lot of glue so it won't slide off. And then I'm simply getting the height adjusted to where I want it and then wrapping the wire around the bottom of the embroidery hoop. So you just play around with it where you want the height. I did not secure these with glue because they would have just simply been stuck to the flowers and that wouldn't have worked. Okay, and let's go ahead and adhere our wood slices here. And the trick is a combination of wood glue, this is from Dollar Tree, as well as hot glue. Now this is preference, you can adhere these wood slices to the front part of the hoop or the back part of the hoop. I hope that makes sense. So to adhere it to the front part of the hoop, I went ahead and placed another wood slice underneath it to give it that height lift. And you can do this with anything. If you have extra wood slices, perfect, foam board even, anything you have that is the right thickness you need. And then I applied the wood glue at the bottom part of the wood slice and then the hot glue on the top part. And then you just want to line it up. You can mark it if you want. I just eyeballed where I needed the glue to sit, and that is that. And then once it's in place, I would let it dry completely before removing your wood slice. I left mine in place until it was all done. Now for the remaining letters, you're going to attach it at the bottom of the F and then again on the hoop. And you can see here what I'm doing, same process with the wood glue and the hot glue. Okay, and then I just went ahead and applied some extra hot glue where everything was connected. Okay, so I'll be honest, this was my very first wreath I have ever created. So if you're intimidated by wreath making, I hope that this helps lead you onto the right track with getting started with it, because this wreath for my very first one made me so extremely proud. I will cherish this for years to come. Those flowers were absolutely beautiful. I picked up these florals in the fall section of Joann's when it all came out, and I did splurge a little, but I feel like a wreath of this magnitude, it's definitely worth it. And then I pulled it all together and hung it by a wired ribbon I also got at Joann's. This is now a staple in our home. All right, so for project number 2, I am going to be using my Cricut machine and some permanent vinyl. I'm going to be using an image that I found in Design Space, which is a software that comes with the Cricut machine. And I found a quote as well that will be correlating with the little image. And we're just going to place that on our wood slice here. And you can see I'm just pressing each image down. This was the group of words, and I'm going to brayer very, very well because these letters were extremely small. So they have a tendency to not want to stick very well, but once they're down, they're good. And then the next was these little leaves I found as little markers in between each word. And the last image was this beautiful burgundy leaf. I loved the way this all turned out. Okay, and we want to seal down that vinyl. Even though it's permanent, we just want to reinforce it and make sure none of the vinyl is going to peel up or start to release from that wood. So I am just taking some matte Mod Podge. Now, if you want a glossy finish on top of that wood slice, you can of course grab the glossy Mod Podge. And I am just coating the top of the vinyl. And I'm going around, I'm kind of going from the middle outwards, and just be cautious to not go too fast and tear up any of your vinyl, especially with those little tiny letters. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and seal everything in by heating it up with my heat tool. Next, I grabbed this wood bead garland that I picked up at Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square section. And if you cannot find this, because it took me years to find this, just grab up some unfinished beads. I do have them linked in my Amazon shop, so you can find some there, or some finished beads, and string them along on a jute twine. And I'm using Apple Barrel, Blue Bonnet color, as well as White Adirondack in Folk Art chalk paint. And I am not showing the process of me painting this because it is total preference to what your decor is and what you prefer. And then I just go ahead and loop that jute through that little hole in the wood slice and tie it on. Next, we're going to make a little tassel out of the jute twine for the other end of our garland. So you go ahead and wrap your jute around your fingers, and the more you wrap, the more jute you have, the bigger and thicker your tassel will be. Okay, and then take another little piece of jute to go ahead and secure the top part of our loop that we made with all the twine, and then I just double knotted it to secure it in place. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and take our scissors, and you're gonna pull down at the bottom and just trim right in the middle there. And then now you have two tail ends of the tassel. So we're gonna go ahead and put our two tails together and take another piece of jute and tie it about 1/2 inch or 1/4 or so down from that top middle tie and double knot it, and that creates your little loop in the middle so that we can feed our jute on our garland through it. Okay, now I am feeding the other end of that garland through the middle of our little loop, and you are just going to tie this as tight as you can to the end of that bead, and you just need to loop it under, start the knot, and then as I did it, I just kind of held the knot in place and then pulled and then held it and pulled. And then go ahead and trim up just like they do with your hair at the salon. We're just gonna trim the ends and make it nice and even. And there you go. You can ruffle it a little bit like I did, get all those loose pieces out, and we have a perfect little garland tassel. And here is how this all came together. It looks so beautiful. It's complementing the colors on the bucket, and I love how the garland leads to the bucket from the pumpkins, but that fall sentiment on that little wood slice really draws it all together. And what a unique way to make a garland. Okay, I think this is probably one of my funnest projects that I made. You're going to want 3 wood slices, and you want them to be a little more narrow. And then grab up 2 coordinating scrapbook pieces as well. And if you see, there's kind of a theme going on with the blue. I am going to simply trace the back end pieces of the 3D pumpkin. If you have not ever made or seen a 3D pumpkin, hang in there with me until the end and it will all make sense. So again, you're going to take your 2 back pieces that are going to be the back end of your pumpkin, trace, cut them out, and then we are going to apply those circles we cut out with Mod Podge. So go ahead and spread your Mod Podge all over your wood slices, and we're going to brayer them on with a brayer. This one is from Cricut. It will be linked in my Amazon shop as well. And then we want to seal the scrapbook pieces on top of our wood slice with a good amount of Mod Podge as well. So go ahead and spread that all over, all along the edge, and then dry it and seal it in. Next, I'm going to take my sanding paper. I grabbed this up in a big pack from Dollar Tree, and I have always sanded from top to bottom, so I just take it and go in a downward motion from the top part of your surface, and then once I start to get the material separated from the wood, then I go ahead and take it side to side, and that will remove the excess. And for time purposes, I went ahead and you just repeat all those steps for your last wood slice that will be the front part of our 3D pumpkin. I am absolutely in love with this color lately. It is Classic Caramel by Apple Barrel, and it is such a rich, creamy tan color, and it really works well with the stem we're creating out of a wooden spindle. I will go ahead and link one that I can find in a little pack because I cannot remember where I got it from. And now we are going to attach the 2 back circles or wood slices together. So this is kind of creating the 3D element to our 3D pumpkin. And when you do this, you do want to stand it up because it will stand on its own as long as you have it level. So grab your glue, push them together, and then quickly stand it up. And then we're gonna grab our last wooden slice and we're gonna add some glue closer to the middle outer edges. And we're going to place that on top of all of it, right in the middle. And go ahead and put some pressure on it, let it dry. And now you can hopefully see what I mean by 3D pumpkin. And this is how it will look when it's standing up. So I absolutely love that it stands up on its own. It really makes it so versatile. And then we're gonna take our little spool and attach that right there in the middle to create our stem. And then I grabbed up some baker's twine that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I used the dark brown and the orange, created a little bow, and then tied it around our little stem. And this little 3D pumpkin made its home on our coffee station, and it was the perfect pop of color, as well as the extra touch of fall decor this little area needed. Alright everybody, so that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope that I have inspired you and made you think a little outside the box. Would you let me know in the comments below which DIY was your favorite, as well as giving me a big thumbs up. Now if you are not subscribed, please hit that big red button and also the bell so you're notified each time I launch a video. Alright everybody, happy crafting. I will see you soon. Let's grow and inspire together. Bye. And don't forget to follow me over on my Facebook page for weekly live DIY tutorials, as well as my Instagram for more Revamped by Renee. And any products mentioned will be linked in my Amazon shop below, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.